So I'm listening to the reasoning that people without like a law degree, I hate to put it that way, it's just annoying to me. I'm listening to people talk about the judge in Wisconsin that got arrested by the FBI because they were making a claim that she was trying to obstruct justice with an individual being, obtained by ICE. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that judges don't make mistakes or judges don't do things out of line. There's plenty of cases where judges have been removed, a bunch of stuff has happened. They're high-profile cases usually when we talk about judges doing something out of line. But the way it sounds is not the way that I'm even perceiving in my head as they're describing it. They're saying that she said that, they couldn't arrest the individual in her courtroom, something like that. And they told them to go out another door or something like that. And the way they're framing it is like, oh, they're trying to evade. And I was thinking to myself, how are you going to evade in a courtroom? No, really. I don't know if you've ever been to court. I've been to court several times. I've done like housing stuff. I've done other things. And you're not just going to be like whisked away secretively. So when they say it, I'm just like, this is like talking to people who've never been in a courtroom, a courthouse, the county. Like, you can't even move in and out of spaces like that without you being detected because everything is like locked up. You have a code or like a badge or a key. So when I was listening to this, I was just like, they're talking to people like, they literally, okay, this is why they're attacking education. They're attacking education so you don't have critical thinking. So you can't look at this and be like, that doesn't even make sense. But yeah, and then when people are talking about, oh, what was a crime that she was trying to protect this person from being like removed and blah, blah, blah. And I just said to myself, like, as I'm listening to these people like give rationales, I'm just like, we're literally in a fascist environment right now. And you want to talk about why are they following the rules? And if this judge did that, they aren't following the rules. Do you know how stupid you people sound? Okay, there's this thing. There's a theologian who said this, and I thought it was a beautiful way to frame past the dumbness and the rationale that people have been indoctrinated to. Sublime madness. You gotta get rid of all this rationale and what you've been indoctrinated into, talking about this is the way it's gotta be and I gotta follow the rules. I see what it's done to the students. That's why I laugh, because I've always been like a perpetual line stepper. So for me, and it's only because like the environment creates and forces you to be a perpetual line stepper when you live in environments that are innately racist, bigoted, fascist, okay? So you are automatically a line stepper. But I enjoy being a perpetual line stepper, not for the negative outcomes, but for the fact that I'm asserting the fact that I'm a whole human being. Anyway, so back to the point about this judge being arrested for the bullshit. It's bullshit, y'all. It's bullshit. And when people talk about, oh, if she did this, it's breaking the law. Literally, these lawyers that are working for Trump have done obstruction of justice when they deported people who were protected by law. And yet you're talking about, listen, you people are stupid. The time for like following these rules has been over. The reason why, and this is another fascist environment situation, but then again, like I said before, when you grew up in poverty, severely impoverished, you already know what it's like to be in a fascist environment. You know how to maneuver through it. You know how to negotiate it. And sometimes people who are historians of it leave. But anyway, just wanted to say that it's a BS charge. And it's another attempt to scare people. And it's working. Why is it working? I'm going to tell you why it's working. I was looking at the travel situations. A lot of people from Canada have quit. And there's something too, like this moron. I'm so glad that Dr. Davis called him a moron. But Dr. Davis said, like, he's such an idiot. He doesn't understand how the world works because he's failed so many times at business. But how the world works is we're so, like, integrated that now he's been pulling back on the tariffs. Yeah, you can talk big and bad all you want to, but no one's bigger than the machine and the business and money. you clown. So of course he's rolling it back, and then he wants to make it say posturing, make it seem like he's the most smartest businessman. No, you're a grifter and a loser. The most mediocre trash people get put into positions. But anyway, so like the deportations and stuff like that, all that stuff he's doing is actually illegal. There's a process for a reason. Now, obviously, the processes are garbage. If you've ever worked in like immigration, there's a lot of issues with the legality. Obviously, we like people who work in this know it. But there's a process for a reason, and so I feel like I preach to the choir every time I do videos and I talk about this stuff, because like I feel like my audience knows that this is just stupid. Obviously, the judge didn't do anything out of the scope of what they are allowed to do. And again, I just can't stand people who are so self-righteous. They can't see that when someone does a crime to you, it's like when someone hits you, you gotta hit them back for self-defense. And this woman was asserting her right, her full right as a judge to do what she did. She wasn't trying to like evade or help some person escape like being arrested. She said, you can't do that in my face. I've heard so many judges have a standard and code of conduct for their courtroom that's not unusual. So anyway, so more BS coming in. And I did a longer video earlier, and I'm going to finish this. I did a longer video a couple of days ago while I was going off. I did a rant where I was talking about how I hear these scholars talking about their leaving, and I gave two sides to this, how I feel about it. On one side, I understand it. On the other side, I'm just like, you're very privileged to be able to leave, opposed to us who have to stay here and deal with this crap.